Hello guys, welcome to the American Network Institute. We are over here in Florida trying to help you out with a couple of network situations and system and everything technology. This is Max, he's a pen, and he's gonna try to help me explain you about the difference between the architecture types and network types. The difference between different type of networks and different architecture types. Before everything guys, remember to put over here all the information about this. Remember to subscribe. Please click like. After this test, after this explanation, you can go to AmericanNetworkInstitute.com and please take a small quiz so you will be able to check how do you do over here. So let's move on, and first of all, let's try to explain what is traffic. But when I'm talking about traffic, I'm not talking about this kind of traffic. Hello guys, this is Victor and we are gonna be talking about network technology fundamentals. This is kind of gonna be a very interesting topic that we're gonna be addressing today, and we're gonna see a lot of different kind of networks. When we are talking about networks, we are not talking about this. And network architecture types. Basically, as you can see, we're going to be talking about on the traffic types. We're going to be talking about unicast, multicast, broadcast, anycast. Before everything, let me specify that network traffic is basically the amount of data that we are using to move across the network at any given time, and when the data is going from one place to another, and that is generating traffic. Now, let's talk about network architecture type. Network architecture type is point-to-point, broadcast, and no broadcast multi-access layer. Basically, when we are talking about network and broadcast, well, broadcast is not necessarily this. But we are going to be showing more specifically when we are talking about broadcast, when are we talking on the network side, what is broadcast for us. So let's go ahead and let's go directly into what is considered our network technology fundamentals, and the different types of network traffic that we are going to find. The network traffic types, as we mentioned before, we have unicast, multicast, broadcast, and anycast. When we are talking more specifically about unicast, we are gonna be talking about the association one-to-one. For example, you're gonna see over here that the destination address is gonna be 10.1.1.1 and 10.1.1.2. Those are the very specific address where we are gonna be trying to get over here, and the scope is going to be usually the whole network when we are trying to use HTTP, for example. As you could see, eventually from the server, it reached two different computers. That is unicast. That's on the whole network, and we were addressing then those computers very specifically. But on the broadcast, the destination address is going to be 255, 255, 255, 255. That means the whole network. That, for example, when you're watching YouTube, everybody can watch YouTube on all the devices that they can find over there on your network, at home, at work, or whatever. And that's the common issue when we are talking about broadcast. It's mean one too many, and is the scope is gonna be a subnet. You're gonna see that very often when we are talking about ARP, address resolution protocol. So this is for you to understand what basically is broadcast. Now we're going to be talking about multicast. Multicast, the association is one or many to many. And over here, for example, we are going to define the horizon. For example, where do you want us to very specifically that network or the communication goes through? For example, we want the destination address in the subnet 239.1.4.5. So from the server, we get to the over there to the router, and we are going very specifically to the devices or the department or the area that we want to reach. Now, we're gonna be talking about ANYCAST. On the ANYCAST, this is many to few. So basically, check how the network is addressing, and we are gonna be very specifically define that we want that to reach the IP address for example, of 2901. That's very generic. That doesn't work like that, but at least you're gonna have an idea of what we are talking about on the IPv6 standard. So from our computer, we want to reach it 2101. It's going over there from it goes through the network, through the cloud, and from the server, and from the server is going to the very specifically uh, server, the other server that we want to reach or send that information. Now, we're going to be talking about network architecture type. On the network architecture type is kind of different. For example, we want to have a point-to-point network, broadcast network as well, and no broadcast multi-access network. And you probably is going to be asking why is that important, and we're going to explain right now the importance and the issues that we can find in a few. So basically, guys, on the point-to-point network is that very simple. When we have, for example, two computers together, then they are communicating through the network. They're basically two communication endpoints or nodes that they are communication to one to another. On the broadcast network, as you remember, it was basically one to many. It was defined on the subnet, and usually we could find that on the ARP address resolution. So you could see over here from one computer or server is sending information to each one of the other computers. They are broadcasting, and you can find, for example, on YouTube. That's the best example. But on the NBMA, or no broadcast multi-access network, is a computer network where multiple hosts are attached, but data is transmitted from one computer to another single host through a virtual circuit. A virtual circuit could be different stuff. For example, you're using different router protocols and you want to access certain areas, or for example, on OSPF of EGRP when you're routing, and you make and it's not, as innate implies, it's not a broadcast for a very specific areas. For example, you see over here that from this server on the left is trying to get to the other from one router is trying to get through the other router or computer on the other side of the network. And over here, that's as we mentioned before, is not a multicast, is a very specific area. For example, from area A to area B or area C, or however you define your network. So what kind of issue can we find over here? Well, we can, when we are talking about designated router issues, and this example is from area 0, you want to reach area 1 or area 2, and you're going to see that very often when we are talking on the OSPF routing protocol. And you could see as well that NBMA is very important when we are talking about split horizons, or as well when we are talking about a spanning tree, that we may need to make aware of that situation. And for example, from router A trying to reach router B, but not necessarily router A knows all the routes that will be available on router C. So guys, I hope that information about the no broadcast multi-access will be helpful for you. In case that you have any questions, please let us know, and hopefully you're gonna have an excellent rest of the day. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Bye. American Network Institute, and make sure that you follow all the courses and we are actually preparing for you. Guys, have a super excellent rest of the day, and goodbye from Florida, and hopefully this is going to be useful for you. Bye, guys.